Yeah, my name is Patrick Rogers. I'm 53 years old. I was born in 1969, April 15th, 1969. I was born in a little city called Pritchard, but it's in the county of Mobile, Alabama. And I was raised by my mom and my grandma.
Were you a good student?
Not that A student that you're always looking for in your child, but I made up for it, so I did pass all my grades and everything, and all the way from elementary to middle school and high school.
Tell us more about your experience in school, like your activities.
I ran track and field, painting, but I mostly excel in track and field. Oh, I also did football and basketball too. I first became noticed in my 6th grade year in middle school. I can run real fast, but my neighborhood knows that I can run fast, but in competition that I was like beating everybody, especially in the hurdles. And I mastered the hurdles starting in my 6th grade year, and I perfected it and during the summer league. And that's when all the college coaches start looking at me and letting me know that I have a future, and if I come to their school. And so I start ranking in the top 10 in the nation, while I was in middle school. And I'm like, okay, I can take this far right here, And I know that back in my days that Edwin Moses was my track idol, because nobody ever can beat him in the 400-meter hurdles, and I wanted to be like him. And so I stuck with the hurdles, and that's how I made my name into track and field. My mailbox at the school was being flooded from all the colleges around the United States. And I couldn't make up my mind which one I wanted to go to, because I knew I can get an education from each one of them. But I just wanted to excel and go to the Olympics. Eventually, I ended up at Miami-Dade South. Then, and I spent 2 years there. And then later on, I transferred to Florida Memorial College, historical black college in Miami. I met some guys that was in a fraternity, but they wasn't from Florida Memorial, but they was from FIU North, Florida International University. And that's where I pledged to become Phi Beta Sigma in the summer of 1990. Eventually, I went and got my BS degree in IT engineering. What the heck's going on with me? So why I'm feeling like this. And so instead of me having a good time at Florida Memorial, I'm like in my bedroom, like in a fetal position and stuff, and still trying to run track at the same time. And then my mom called me, asked me to come home because my big mama was sick. So I just dropped everything, forgot about school, and went back to Pritchard, Alabama, and helped my mom to take care of my big mama until she passed away. And I made a life back home. And then I started going to the doctors there. And so they did a biopsy on my kidney, and they came up with a term that I had called glomerulonephritis. And I'm like, then they said that, well, your kidney is breaking apart, Patrick. If we don't do something about this, you're gonna die. And I'm like 21 years old. I'm like, hey, what the heck just happened? How can a healthy guy, so healthy, now sick as a dog now he's gonna die? I let them give me the steroids and the cytoxin, which is radiation. And I think I did it for 3 or 4 months straight. I mean, after that, my kidneys started improving. And I'm like, okay then, I'm going to live. But the next year, that's when the steroids took over my body because they gave me heavy dosage of it. I went to college in Mobile and I got a 2-year degree at Bishop State Community College. I graduated in '99, moved to Orlando, and then I started working into construction, and I was traveling, across the United States. And my job was being an electrician. I learned on the job, and so I learned how to bend pipe, run cable. And so I worked my way up from being a green helper to a journeyman. And so now I'm making like $20 and more going from job to job, just working at all the industrial plants. And then I met a beautiful lady, and then she later became my wife. Like 2 years later, then I had my first son. His name was Christian. We called him Christian Patrick Rogers.
Patrick Rogers is an amazing person to me. He's my hope, he's my support, he's everything to me. I just hope he knows that I love him with all of my heart, and he's a beautiful person. He's been through so much in his life. He's my dad. He's amazing. Who he is it's unexplainable.
When my son became 2 and 3 years old, that pancreas problem that I had put me in the hospital a lot of times because the pancreatitis, because it got worse. A couple of weeks later, I was doing my first dialysis, and this was in 2010. And so I didn't like it, but I didn't have a choice. And so then, and I had to do something because I was very depressed. I was taking care of my son, and while I was doing dialysis, while his mom was working, because she was our only means of support. And so then I decided to go back to school. And so I went to UCF because I wanted to get my bachelor degree. I wanted to be an engineer. I don't know. I mean, like, after my second year at UCF, I started failing my grades because I know that I was worried about calculus and my hips and being on dialysis, because I had to get off the dialysis machine, then drive all the way to UCF. I had to drive from Winter Garden all the way up to Oviedo, and I had to let the window down. I had to throw water in my face because I was getting ready to pass out. And my classes was like every day at UCF, and I took on a load. I took 18 credit hours and sometimes 21 credit hours because I wanted to get the hell out of school. And when I do get to the school, I just like stay right there in the parking lot, just cry, because I don't want to be at school. I just want to be in my bed, and I don't know that the teachers are going to pass me or going to believe me because I'm sick, because some teachers don't care. So I wound up flunking out, and I was on probation. And my relationship with my son's mom wasn't going good at all. And she didn't understand what I was going through. And like some people, if they got family members that on dialysis, they don't know, and they wouldn't understand.
For example, my husband. It is very hard. It is sentimental. You have to have that positive mindset, pushing, praying, praying, and pushing to get you through. Dialysis, from firsthand seeing it myself, is not easy at all. How it affects the body, it affects the whole body.
The hospital finds me a recipient for a kidney and a heart. I have a technician that does this for me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to make sure that my blood is clean. I made a commitment to my son back then. I said, look, I'm going to work very hard and I'm going to graduate and I'm going to take care of you. So he was my motivation to go ahead and finish school. And I used that tool even though his mom and I wasn't getting along together. And I focused just on him until I got my bachelor degree in IT engineering in 2013. And that was like one of the biggest accomplishments that I achieved besides having him. And so I was pretty happy about that. And then I thought, calculus trig is gonna kick my butt while I was in college. But what wound up hurting me after I graduated from college, that I had a freaking stroke. I had a stroke with him on my lap. He was right here on my lap. And my head just started hurting really bad. And I just fell back and I couldn't move no more. And he was screaming. My mom was screaming. And my wife back then was on the phone with 911. And I was just sitting back, just listening to everything. Couldn't move, couldn't do anything. And then the paramedics came and they saw me and I couldn't respond. I'm just looking, but I can still hear everybody. And so they took me to the hospital, and on my way to, I think it was Altamont Hospital, where I came to. From 2013, I'm still doing dialysis until 2015. That's when I got a donor and I got my kidney. We're not made to be on that dialysis machine that long. You do it until they find you a transplant. Our body is not built for that machine. The reason why they want to do a heart transplant, because my heart ran out of places of putting too many stents in it. How many stents can a heart take? Mine can't take no more now. That's why they want to do a heart transplant on me. And right on Christmas morning, I'm in the bed, calling people, wishing them Merry Christmas. And, looking at my son's picture. Then all of a sudden, my heart started beating fast. And I'm like, okay, that's unusual. Never felt that before. I'm like, okay, I think I'm having a heart attack. It was beating so fast that I couldn't catch my breath. And then I called the nurse. I said, I think that I'm having a heart attack here. I don't know what a heart attack feels like, but I think I'm having one. So they came over and listened to it. Next thing you know, cold red. And the first thing I did, I called my friend Andrita and tell her that I'm having a heart attack here, and try to tell her this is my code to my number, my keys are right here, or tell my son Christian I love you. And she's like, wait. I was going too fast and everything, I was scaring her. And then she said, wait a minute, let me call the apostle. So we got the apostle on the phone, and so he started praying for me, and I'm just sitting there real calm. I'm looking at my son's picture, Christian. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I know you got me, right? You're not gonna let me go. And so now they wheeling me real fast down the hallway. And I'm still sitting there, and all of a sudden, that's all that I remember, because I dropped dead.
Patrick Rogers is a dear friend to me. We've known each other since 2012. And we met at DaVita, that was the place that I was getting my dialysis. While I was at dialysis at DaVita, going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Patrick and I became very good friends. He got his kidney transplant before I did, and I, a year later, got a kidney transplant in 2016.
I couldn't believe it, but when I looked at my chest, I seen all of the burnt marks because they put the paddle on me. And came to find out that when you're doing CPR, your sternum and your ribs are broken. So all of that was broken. I guess that was a good CPR right there. It brought me back to life into 2021. And so now I'm having my second heart attack. It wasn't that bad. Led to my third heart attack. And that's when I woke up the next day. And we're talking about like maybe June of 2021. And, right before or after my son's birthday. And that's when I came up, I woke up, and that's when the doctors told me that they're gonna give me a heart transplant and a kidney transplant. And I didn't know they're gonna do a heart, but I knew they're gonna do a kidney on me. And then they said I needed like $5,000 for a kidney transplant. And then I knew I didn't have the $5,000, but the $5,000 was only for the medicine after post-transplant, because they need to know if you're gonna have the money to pay for the anti-rejection medicine, and so you can have a long life. So now I had to come up with a way and figure out how I'm gonna do this. And it came to me, and it was like, did God put this through my head? I mean, like, I'm going to actually design a cryptocurrency coin, and like, what I'm gonna name it? We're gonna call it the Transplant Coin, because I can't afford to buy my medicine. Why don't I invent a coin that would pay for my medicine to help people who couldn't afford it? Because I know that the insurance is gonna pay the 80% of the medicine, so why don't I just pay the other 20%? And so like, that would help everybody, man, woman, child, to keep money into their pocket, and to pay their bills. And they don't have to be burdened by, what they're gonna choose, between their bills, their rent, and in order to pay medicine. And so,
Because medications are very expensive. When I had my kidney transplant, you had to have at least $3,000 to go towards the medications that you would have to take once you have the transplant. Now that has increased to $5,000 you have to have in your bank account before you can even get a transplant.
went ahead and started a nonprofit foundation and an LLC to build my company, because I knew this was going to be huge. Nobody in the world has this, and I knew that this is like a once in a lifetime thing right here, because anybody can come up with something like this, but you have to be creative, and you got to have a good story behind it. Well, I got a good story. I'm living it. In the month of November, I went to go visit my son, and I just like stepped out of the house. 15 minutes later, I go visit my son, and I fell dead right in front of him. And I didn't know it was coming. I just went to go visit my son, and it just freaking happened. I drove 15 minutes to go visit my son, and it freaking happened. And the only thing that kept me alive was this pacemaker. Yeah. That's when I said, hey, I got a coin. And then the memory started coming back. Yeah, I got a cryptocurrency coin I want to promote. And so when March came, because I was in the hospital for 60 days, then rehab. Then I started thinking about my coin, and then I started promoting it, just thinking like, hey, I need to get this coin back to where it was before. I know I can do it. If I can make people, if I can make them money, like 6 figures, I can make them millionaires.
I know that it's a coin there to provide help for people that cannot afford a transplant, and I know it will help and save a lot of people's lives.
Do you think this coin is going to help a lot of people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This coin is going to make a tremendous difference in a lot of lives for people that cannot afford the medication after being transplanted.
It's an awesome idea. I think it's definitely from God, and I am so thankful that Patrick has a heart to help people because people need it. Some people aren't able to get a transplant because they don't have the finances to pay for their medications. So this is an awesome idea, and I know it will bless many people that are in the situation of wanting a transplant but just can't afford it.
It's doing good on the market, and it's making a lot of people money, and I want to pay for people the transplant medicine, which is the anti-rejection medicine. And so, and I know that the insurance company is going to pay the 80%, so let me pay the 20% to help the people who are, financial burden, and that they don't have to choose between their bills or paying for their medicine. I would pay that copay for you. The world can get involved with this coin by going to my website, transplantcoin.org, and you can go to Twitter and you can find up-to-date information. Transplant Coin, yeah, that's our Twitter name right there. And the white paper tells you everything about our coin and where we going and what we're going to be doing in the future to get this coin out there for everybody to invest in.
What do you say to encourage yourself every day?
I believe in myself. I pray to God, because I know that I can beat this, and I know God has me. He's not going to let anything happen to me. I had 4 heart attacks, and I'm still here. Got so much to live for now, so I'm not afraid no more. And I'm going to get this heart, and I'm going to get this kidney, and that's what's keeping me alive. We have the money now. We have the transplant coin.